And Miles, as we head into the last 3 weeks of the season, what's amazing to me is, when I saw a snippet of Football Night in America on Sunday evening, I'm looking at the odds, and Steve Kornacki playoff odds is not altogether into the Bills making the playoffs. And I just thought to myself, wow, after watching the Bills play the last couple of weeks, I mean, not that they're a playoff lock, but then you understand the logic behind it. First of all, Buffalo is 2 games behind Miami. And even though Miami has Dallas and Baltimore in the next 2 weeks, and they could lose one or both of those, the last game of the season, Buffalo at Miami. And so I understand why, Steve Kornacki and many are thinking that this is still a tough road for Buffalo to the playoffs. But Miles Simmons, if they get there, I think right now, today, this moment, this is one of the top 3 teams in football, one of the most dangerous 3 teams in football. And I would not want to play the Buffalo Bills in January if I were an AFC playoff foe.
I would not either, especially the way that they showed their dominance in the run game in that victory over the Cowboys on Sunday. I mean, they were just absolutely dominant. And Josh Allen, talking about, I feel like the kid doing the group project who did nothing and still got an A. And, a lot of people were saying, oh, we've all been that guy. I'm telling you, Peter, I'm sorry. I've never been that guy. I was the guy that was always doing all the work. And I didn't usually like the people that didn't do much and still got an A because of me. But I digress. I think that the Bills certainly are a dangerous team, and when Josh Allen is playing in the way where he's unleashed, and he's not really turning the ball over, he's playing clean football. These are the types of things that you like to see from him. This is the kind of potential that I think we all know that he has, even when they're just running the crap out of the football. Josh Allen's still making good decisions. He's still making checks in the run game. And those are the things you need from your quarterbacks. So yeah, I also don't think that any AFC team would want to see them in January. But at the same time, as I have been telling my buddy who's from Buffalo, it's still an uphill climb. There are a lot of teams that they have to jump. And whether it's Miami in that division, and yeah, Miami could lose one of these next 2 and make that week 18 game for the division, or Buffalo could trip up in one of their next few games. I mean, there's no guarantees there, but they are playing great football right now. There's no denying that. It's just kind of a shame that their lull throughout the year has put them in this position where they could end up on the outside looking in at the playoff picture.
I said to somebody from Cincinnati over the weekend after what I thought was a really, really impressive win for the Bengals against Minnesota, coming back from down 17-3, where at that moment they're down 17-3, and Brian Flores' defense with Minnesota has gone 29 series in a row without allowing a touchdown. Yeah. And what does Jake Browning do? He goes touchdown, 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 and then they win the game in overtime. Tremendous job. All the respect in the world for last week's podcast guest, Jake Browning, and for the coach of the Bengals and the coaching staff, quite honestly. Zach Taylor, Brian Callahan, quarterback coach Dan Pitcher, doing a great job. But my point that I was going to make is every week counts. Mm-hmm. And I just want to kind of remind you a little bit when probably a month ago we were all saying, well, Bengals are done. They lost 3 in a row. They lost Joe Burrow and all that. And now, obviously, they've beaten 3 strong playoff contenders, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and Minnesota. And to those who would say, Bengals are a fluky playoff contender right now, I'm not convinced. I don't love them. I'm just going to say one thing. Every week counts. And do you remember the consecutive weeks about 5-6 weeks ago when the Cincinnati Bengals went to Santa Clara and beat the 49ers, went back home and beat the Buffalo Bills on national TV. And I realize Joe Burrow's gone, but you know what? It is just the lesson. Every game counts. You're the Buffalo Bills, and you say, oh, my God, they're one of the best teams in football. They got to make it. Here's what I would say to Buffalo Bills fans. Yes, you are one of the best teams in football, but you lost to the Jets. You lost to the Patriots. You handed a primetime game to the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
So I don't want to hear any whining at the end of the year if you're a Buffalo Bills fan. Yes, you're one of the best teams in football right now, but your performance in a 2 or 3 week period is not and should not be what determines it. This is not the college football playoffs where you have people voting for who the best teams are. You know, this in the NFL, Florida State would be in the playoffs, Miles Simmons. So I just wanted to get all that out of the way.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.